of those guys that can have a good mix there.
They're buying the sand.
They pay for the sand.
Yeah.
I think they gotta give it.
They gotta donate.
Yeah, donate.
Bill,
Yeah.
people here back here can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we're gonna be hauling some sand for the drum and rodeo guys and the Rotary Club.
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis, I'm sorry. Kiwanis Club. And we do a great job putting on a good rodeo, and they've asked us for some help trucking, and we're gonna be doing that.
Do you know how much?
Quite a bit, actually.
We're gonna haul about 150 yards, and then local contractors are gonna haul the rest.
Those people.
They just donate, you know.
Okay, Town of Phillipsburg.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Solid waste. So I have some questions about this that I don't know. So how much does the county pay Republic? How much a year does the county pay Republic?
Mike, would you have any idea?
Okay,
Well, we
Nobody
can-
knows.
So how that's done is that if Republic is picking up his garbage, they pick up mine, they charge my unit that I have.
no, that's
No,
Robinson.
she's talking
Robinson.
about, she
Oh,
talks
I'm-
about the
Tipping
call
fees.
out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm
It's
sorry.
anywhere from there's 8,000 to 11,000 a month.
And we just went up.
8 to 11,000.
You
Okay.
know, that's just.
Well,
And that varies.
Yeah.
I'm
That
sorry, you're
varies.
talking tipping fees.
Yeah.
Missoula.
so does Robinson's is the pickup person in there? Does he pay a solid waste disposal? Does he pay for dumping in there?
I don't think, no, he does not.
Okay. Does he have a customer list or a route sheet?
Yep,
And he turns that in?
he has 400, he told me today, he does 400 a week.
I've never seen the list. That's what it is.
So who goes over that?
Huh?
Does anybody go over that? Do you
No,
guys
he's
go
a
over
private
that?
contractor. He goes out and gets his own. Are you having trouble getting?
No, here's my thought process, and I mean, you know, garbage is a big business. If you guys don't look over that, how do we know that he is not?
Okay, we do have,
Yeah.
we have a county employee that tracks all of that out of the county treasurer's office.
Okay,
And,
Oh, yeah.
Lynn, and she knows, and I
She
know where
just
you're
sent
going
out the
here.
overages and.
So what happens is, if they pick up my garbage, they charge my unit. I have
Right.
1 unit per resident, okay?
Right.
If you have a business, you got 2. You got your resident and you got your business unit,
Right.
okay? So they'll, if you're picking out of the business, they're gonna charge your business unit, and then if they go to your house, they're gonna charge that. So we know 100% of how many units that is and how many tons that is. And every year we look at all that, and if it never exceeds the total amount of units, we're always running how many tons he brings in. Every load he brings in is weighed,
right.
but it might have 10 units from 10 different residents on that load. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But we've looked at that every year, and we thought, well, as long as it stays under the charged, taxed units that comes in. That's a Drummond and Phillipsburg. Commissioner Bartbani is here, Commissioner Adler, right there. Road Supervisor Paul All's with us tonight. Mayor Reddish is right here. Mayor Leeper, thanks for coming down. County Attorney Bradshaw, he's here to shut my mouth with his elbow if he has to. And City Attorney Robert, where I saw him right there, Phillipsburg, and Drummond City Attorney Jan McGill. All right, Jan, thanks for coming. Anybody that I missed? Is anybody here from? Mike Kale, most important part. Yeah, he runs the Granite County Commission, and then some. So, is anybody here from Missoula County? Sir, you are.
Eric Dixon, County Engineer.
Well, good, Eric. Thanks for coming. You're welcome. You need to sit up here.
Come on up.
Is there a chair?
Yeah, we gotta make.
Come on up. get a bullseye on you, but, so here we go. Okay, so is anybody I missed in introductions? Thanks to the citizens for coming. First item on the agenda is economic development. Mayor,
Why do I get a start?
because I said well.
So, economic development, talked with Tim McHugh today. Tim McHugh is my contact for the limestone mine that is going in down just outside of Drummond. They put in for their operating permit, and then they had to come back with answer a bunch of questions. That is finalized now. So that part may go out to public meetings here shortly. Their next permit is the air quality permit. And that usually takes anywhere from a few months, he said, to a year. They're concerned about I-186. That he felt like it wasn't the intention of how it was written to hurt all of the mines, but he said potentially that could be the death of the limestone mine, not even getting started. And even if it passes, they're subject to litigation with that. Road work was the other thing that they were concerned about. If anybody knows where that mine is going in, it's kind of to the southwest of Drummond, and they would access Highway 1 and then come through Drummond. And they have talked with Montana Department of Transportation about accessing the highway. That would definitely be they'd have to change that quite a bit. So there's state and county more talks that would have to be. That's what I got.
Thanks, Gail. So as far as the county's concerned on our economic development, we've got a pretty exciting project. As you know, the last year's fires, both the Sapphire and the Myers fire, left a lot of wood that is not accessible at this point, but would be excellent. Somewhere between, they tell us, 15 and 19 million board feet of usable wood that we could get out if we could get to it. So earlier this spring, we started a process with the Forest Service. Basically, they can't get a contract in place for about 2 years to fix roads, but they realized they have a contract, an active one with Granite County. So our county road supervisor, Paul Alt, and the engineer, what's his name? Wade, he's in Idaho anyway, he's a Forest Service guy, have been working together all summer. We are working, building the it's several miles of road, is it 36? 36, thanks Scott. And then 186 culverts, something like that. So it's a big project. So what we asked that if in fact we took this on, and Paul and Wayne actually running this project, that we wanted local contractors to be able to bid. They kind of wanted a guy from Idaho, and we said, yeah, not so much. But they went along with us, and we have, is it 2 or 3 now?
2 right now.
Two contractors that are grubbing holes in the road, rebuilding the road, and putting in culverts. Paul's able to get all the culverts and all the equipment and everybody lined out. It's been going on quite a while. The issue is, economically, if they can get the roads in, and they will, by the time the summer freeze up or the winter freeze up, we can get a bunch of that wood out. And that's going to help mills, and those are truckers that are going to buy fuel and food, and it should be a huge boom for about a 3-county area at least. So we're pretty excited about that. Otherwise, it will sit there and rot and won't be any good, right?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay. So we're pretty excited about that. That's moving ahead. Paul does that in addition to all his other duties. I'm not sure how he gets it done, but he puts a lot of miles on a pickup, I can tell you that. So we're pretty happy to be able just to do that. You have anything to add, Paul?
Can I ask a stupid question?
Yeah.
So who's paying for this to be done? Is that Granite County?
No, the Forest Service, that's a good question. The Forest Service is paying every dime, plus Paul adds 10% on the bills. So Granite County makes 10% every time. Our last bill was 70,000, something like that. So just for our efforts, we're making, you know, $7,000 for being here, basically.
Plus,
Yeah.
we get to use our own stuff too. We get
Yeah.
paid for using trucks, and if we can use any of our county equipment on it, we get paid for that.
Paul, you just put on another excavator, a county, or?
It will be starting tomorrow.
Okay. So he put on another excavator, county personnel running that, and are you running trucks too, probably?
We will be later next week. We'll run some more trucks.
And what do you get an hour for, say, a truck coming
95 is what we've been getting
for
for
the
the
excavator?
dump trucks, and the excavator will be $150.
Dollars an hour. So we're hitting them really hard, and they are paying. And we bill, is it once?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, and they pay like a slot machine.
So
Thanks
all
to
the
Paul.
county road people are working on that project?
Some of the
Rather
county.
than working on our road?
No, some of the county road people are, and they haven't started, and they'll start next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anybody, these are all private contractors that we've hired to work on the road, but we will put a county crew on next week.
Yeah. Just one guy.
One guy. Okay, just one guy. So any other questions?
Will there be any firewood available from?
That's a good question. We'll ask him next time we have a meeting, but they're gonna be trucking, you know, big lumber to both mills.
A lot of this is still standing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get in to set up these sales, and then they're gonna break up. There's 5 or 6 different sales, and they're gonna try to bid them that way. There should be firewood, but
The county attorney just said that Cameron Razor is working on firewood permitting system, so we'll get back with you. Put something in the paper, maybe the best way to communicate with you, so that we can tell you where to go and stuff like that. Good question. Anything else?
Okay.
Yeah.
How much are you paying the subcontractors?
125 and 150
$1,000 or what?
an hour.
125 an hour and 150 an hour?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the one's bigger than the other one.
And they bid it.
That's the way it was bid.
There's no out of pocket at all from Granite County, okay? All of it comes from the Forest Service. And you know, there's 2 contractors that have, you know, hired people. That's good economic development as well. Other questions?
Yeah.
Okay, any other economic development issues, Bart, that you think
I don't
of?
have anything. We covered it pretty well.
Okay, so Granite County update, we'll start with Lower Rock Creek Road. Which one of you guys want to take that?
I think it's time to try to.
Nobody wants to handle that. but-
Nobody wants to handle that one.
I will.
Go
It's a
ahead.
lot of work. I've been up there like 4 times in the last month, and I see what the trouble. There's just so much traffic and the speed. It's terrible. I've been up there
Yeah, no kidding.
for 4 wrecks. I have a tow business, and I've been up there on 4 bad wrecks, and it's all due to speed. But I don't know how if we make it better, they get faster too. But we have to definitely do something. We need to start looking, seeing about we haven't even talked about it, the chip sealing it again. It needs to be re-chip sealed before we lose it all.
You know, it hasn't ever been chip sealed since it was done.
Right.
Yeah. And it was, the last section was done 21 years ago.
I looked it up there, yeah, and I think it's time. It's because the banks are starting to, you know, but we gotta figure out, we gotta try to work with Missoula too and see what we can help down below. And Got this all get on the same page, maybe we can make it work.
So
It's a
what,
lot of
how many
money.
miles of the, that handle chip seal? Is anybody?
Oh, wow.
12, and how many of that is Missoula County?
3. Yeah. Theirs under 3, ours is 12.
Okay, so it's 15 altogether. Okay. So we just did a chip seal
No, it's only
project.
12 total,
12 total, 3 of it's Missoula County.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So 9,
So-
9 is Granite.
I thought that,
Now we turn around to 12 miles.
So 8 and 3, right? Okay, so the
Nine
reason I was
and 3.
kicking it out, we did a chip seal project. Paul, can you tell us how much that was a mile? Because it turned out, or
Yeah, it was about 16,000.
about 16,000 a mile.
Numbers in front of me,
Okay.
What we do, 8 miles thereabouts.
but, yeah, 8.4, 8.
So if we put together a contractor, do you think Missoula County would do their 3? I mean, they're gonna be here.
Seeing we have Eric Dixon here, is there a way that we can combine,
I'm sorry, I just asked him that. Eric, you got a thought?
pardon me?
He just
Yeah.
asked. Well, yeah, I think it's definitely worth talking about. I mean, like you said, if they are there, if we can get our, our portions patched, get the shoulders addressed.
Right.
If you're there, it makes sense to do it all at one time. So I can't imagine why the commission wouldn't want to participate and get, one finished project, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and so would that be next year?
Next year,
Yeah.
we still have some chips left over too, so that would help. We got a good deal on chips this year.
So as you spoke about the speed, which is an issue forever and ever in that. So we improved the road. Speed's not gonna get any worse because it's already bad. I mean, I live on a straight stretch and there are times people are going 60 and 70 miles an hour past my
Yeah, they
house.
passed me.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Granite County Sheriff's Department is always shorthanded. But isn't there a way, I mean, Rock Creek certainly has enough traffic up here in the summertime to warrant more than an occasional deputy. And, the two actually go hand in hand. And it's been I've been up here since 1991, and we've been squawking the same since 1991, and probably even before that.
The last time we were here, the sheriff was actually here. He isn't here tonight, but we'll certainly talk with him. He does have some Forest Service patrol money, and we'll talk to him about expending that overtime money, that we could maybe ask him to use it, in this area.
I don't think you can, because it's a campground.
Yeah, but it's to and from a campground, right? So it's to and from a campground. Yeah. I used to stretch it out. Anyway.
So I
It's
don't.
just having a sheriff's deputy present. But the truth is, if we chip seal it, I guarantee the speeds will go up. We're seeing it already where we chip sealed this year.
Well, it's not gonna go up any more than it did when we went from dirt to pavement.
Yeah. No, you'd be surprised.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's bad.
Well, we'll pass that on to the sheriff. Is there any certain times of day that it's worse than the other?
They've been coming down.
Because there's people, sometimes when there's nobody in the middle of the day, that's when you're gonna see that guy going 70. Because he doesn't think there's anybody there. And it's
It's hard to.
in the mornings, in the evenings when people are coming off fishing and
Yeah.
and things like that. There's lots of times then. So it's at all hours. I mean, last night somebody, I can hear it. Somebody went down that road really fast last night after dark. You can tell. At my house, I call it the speed bump, and there's a culvert that goes underneath the road, and the road bumps. And when people hit that going fast, you can hear. I can hear it. You can tell. And somebody was definitely going close to 60 over it last night, and it was well after dark.
We'll chat with Scott, but you're certainly welcome to call and chat with him yourself. He's always been really good at responding to
Well,
us, so.
yeah, the issue is they're shorthanded. So, you know, where does, I mean, I can't remember which one was running for commissioner that used to be a law enforcement officer over in Great Falls. But he won, whichever one of you guys that was.
It's Bozeman, but that was me.
Okay, and you had access to grants and.
We actually, you know, I'll be honest with you, the sheriff did not ask us for extra personnel this year. And we give him the finest vehicles, training, equipment. It is a real priority for not just me, but these two commissioners. Public safety is like number one. There just isn't much he doesn't ask for that he don't get.
So do we have to put together another petition requesting that we have a deputy up here in the summertime?
No, I think we can work within it and see, you know, what we can do, and we'll do that.
Didn't they just hire two new deputies?
No, but we just lost
They're
one.
We
going
lost
to,
a deputy.
We just lost a deputy this week.
Okay, 'cause I saw the Peter paper.
Did it help when you put those, no.
Speed not at all.
The speed
No,
stuff?
we put money in, that's another issue. We bought,
Right.
the association bought a sign with some of the wildlife groups. We bought a permanent sign, speed sign up here.
Right.
And then we bought a third of the one that's in Peaburg and Peaburg, Drummond, and Lower Rock Creek bought that other one. They haven't really made a difference speed-wise because there's no enforcement to back it up. So, you know, somebody
Right.
sees that and they go past it and then they floor it again. There isn't, you know, it hasn't done, you know, as much as we were hoping it would do.
Well,
But-
if there was some way that there was follow-up, but there isn't. It's just telling people how fast you're going.
Okay, well, we'll do some follow-up with the sheriff, and you're welcome to, you know, call and talk with him as well. Actually, guys, we haven't heard this complaint this summer, have we? I mean, we knew it was ongoing, but just haven't heard, I didn't hear anybody talk about it, so.
Well,
feel
just
free
keep
to
it on,
call.
it's a constant complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
It
mean,
doesn't ever go away.
we didn't hear whether or not the signs work for you, you know,
Oh.
and, but no, we'll talk with the sheriff, and, absolutely, that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have somebody up here writing tickets.
We'll certainly pay for his gas if he writes the tickets.
You're already paying for his gas, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that.
How many days a week do you guys have patrol up here? You know?
A week? A week? You might ask us a month. A month?
Yeah. It's the same on the south end of the county too.
I'm sure, because you can only stretch two
You can
people
only
so
stretch
far.
so fast.
She said she's fine.
We just got, what, 5?
Yeah.
Count the sheriff.
Yeah, we're talking, so like, yeah, 200.
Yeah, 2 on at a time for not the full time, so, yeah. Was there another comment?
Yeah, Jim?
I did. Do you have more maintenance scheduled for the balance of the year for Rock Creek Road?
Just the bridge on the far end.
I'm talking about the paved section. You're not gonna finish the pothole patching and no plans on grading the berms of the road so that the water will run off instead of breaking up the edges of the road?
No, we might hit some of that with the blade, but there's not a lot you're gonna do with that. You can't already cut the edge of the road off.
That's not really the way it works, but
Yeah.
the berms are higher than the pavement and the water lays there and that's why it's breaking up from the edges. That's the biggest single reason. And a lot of that was never repaired when you did the ones that were in the middle of the road. So I just wondered if you were coming back to finish what you were doing and try to get the water off the edge of the road instead of just laying there breaking the road up in a freeze and thaw cycle.
Well, like I say, we'll be doing a little bit of blading up there, but I'm not sure how much.
Okay.
No.
Is there a fixed dollar amount for the contract? And I'm not quite sure I understand. You're saying that you're going to get 10%. Does that mean whatever the road department expends in terms of money, you're gonna get reimbursed by the Forest Service 10% for whatever the costs are?
Okay, so we're jumping back, that we're on another subject, okay? But the answer is yes, we get 10% on the whole bill.
So you get
When we
10,
bill them, we get 10%.
okay, so you get 10%, and approximately how much are you anticipating here?
About 200, whatever, yeah, he changed it recently, but it's 230,000 somewhere in there.
So you're gonna get 10%, but then where is that money gonna go? Is it gonna be allocated to Rock Creek, or where
It
does
will go in the general fund, and then we can allocate it where we need it.
So there's no specific place it's gonna be?
No.
Yeah.
Back to Rock Creek. Do we have maintenance for this winter? Plow driver, I know we lost our.
We've talked to 2 people and they haven't got back to us. We're kind of waiting to see if we can find somebody.
2 people from here,
Yeah,
from Rockford?
Huh?
No.
2 people from,
Oh.
oh, okay.
No, this one was
Just-
from Drummond, another one was from out of town.
somebody told me if somebody was interested here, do you guys know who that was? Of doing kind of a Barney thing, that they need a CDL, and
That's it.
they need to apply. Paul's working on it, I guess. If you know anyone that's interested, have them get a hold of him. Gwinnett County. Should talk to him. Anything else on Rock Creek Road?
I do.
Missoula County? Oh, yes, ma'am.
You guys put any pressure on the Lowell National Forest to do anything about the road up in the forest? There's some huge holes up there, you know, Scott.
You know, and
Can
I
you
talked,
talk to them and have them go back up?
that night I was up there, the Forest Service cop was up there, and we had a really good talk. He said he was taking back, he took pictures, and he was taking it back to them and seeing what they could do. So was that
How
actually,
long ago was that?
2 weeks ago.
Oh,
It was actually when he went up and he hit them holes and bounced him off.
some of them are horrible.
Going real fast.
Dangerous.
Yeah, some of them holes.
Yeah.
They bladed that once, you know, and then they're gonna, they talk like they're gonna try to fall blade it again. I don't know.
Well, they bladed it before the rain and the flooding.
Yeah.
Well, and they didn't get all the way through either, they put about there, but.
When they said they got cut on their, how much they can do.
Of course.
Well, I talked to the engineer, electric engineer about that, especially about the area up by the Hogbacks where it took a real beating from the floods this year. And he said flat out that there was no money.
What?
No money.
Now, my, that's,
They didn't have any money to repair
they only
it.
got
No money.
allocated so much just for that little bit up there, and but they said that they were gonna blade again this fall. Now,
So they'd have to do more than blade that.
oh yeah, they got cut. They got a lot.
They're gonna have to haul material in because the road bed just disappeared.
I have a question for the.
AJ, hang on a second. AJ, go ahead.
What about Brewster Creek Road? That's pretty bad shape, and I know you got a contract with the Forest Service. Is that gonna be a no money available fund type of deal for the grader and equipment? Because if you ride up that road, you'll be surprised it's going up 1 mile. Just like the rest of Rock Creek Road that isn't paved. And it hasn't been graded last year.
Yeah, no, we'll be blading our part of that to the top.
Up to the bridge.
I realize it's Missoula County, but the type per 3/4 of a mile up, is that gonna get repaired? That's gonna be dangerous.
Where it started sloughing off,
Yeah.
where the.
The cones are.
Yeah, where
They-
cones
they-
are, right.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on that permit now with Fish, Wildlife and Parks and the Corps, so as soon as they give us the okay, we're hoping to get it done still this fall. Yes.
Also, before the flooding starts in the spring. And the Valley of the Moon is Forest Service, or do you have any type of jurisdiction in that?
I
Because,
don't know if it's private or Forest Service, it's not private. I think it's private.
That's why the Forest Service pulled out of it.
so that is up to the landowners there to fix that? Has anyone told them?
I guess I'm not familiar, is it at the bridge itself or just on?
Between the bridges where the road
Yeah.
washed out.
Yeah, that's Forest Service Road number 34, so it's probably all there. Any other comments on Lower Rock Creek Road?
How about the giant boulders that are in the gutter on the road? Are those gonna get cleaned out before winter? And
Yeah.
then covered with snow and people hit them with their tires?
No, they'll be pulled out.
No.
Can you plug it in there?
It used to get done every year in the spring that the gutters would get cleaned out, but it's been a couple of years.
Keeps
So
getting
there's
worse
a lot
as
of
rainfall.
rocks and
The rainfall they had this year
just
really
don't ask
brought them down.
questions.
You know, bring the loader down and scoop
Let them
out
ask
there.
them.
That's all we can do. Nice to put them on that edge if they let us.
AJ?
Well, also with that in mind too, no mowing has been done along any part of the road. This summer, bring down that level of grass right next to the roadway. And
We're gonna be
that
mowing
hazard
some this
itself.
fall though, as soon as the fire danger isn't so high.
What about signs and reflectors? We're losing the speed limit signs. We have no reflectors in several different areas along the whole creek. Come winter time, people are gonna be driving in the snow and they won't even know where the road is if there's a little curve in it, just past mile marker 9. 3 people that I know have gone in there that are residents. And it's
Well,
a
we'll get some
3-foot
in there.
drop-off.
Like that, I guess.
I think we need to get reflectors put up in areas and people know come snow time that they're on the road. You can't even tell. You got reflector sticks, but nothing on them. There's no reflectors. There's a rod there, but no reflector to it. It needs to be maintained.
And there are quite a few of the speed signs that are gone. And probably even some areas where they can put some more on, but that goes to our speed issue. I don't know how many people really look at them, but.
They like them signs.
Yeah.
They disappear pretty fast.
We lost one of our, the slow down and the sheep signs. They put up, somebody took that sign.
Running a dorm room.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where they used to go. Anything else on Lower Rock Creek Road? Improvements, Commissioner Bonnie.
Right now, we have 2 contracts going. The first contract in September is going to be to repair the stilling basin and replace the gabion baskets that protect the water from eroding the embankment. That'll happen in September. In October, same contractor got both projects. He's going to be replacing those 100-plus-year-old valves that allow us to let water into the hydro plant pipe and let water into the creek when we have more water than we need. Right now the lake is at 4 inches below full pool. We got more water this year than we've had in a long time. So that's what's up. Next year we got our engineer is working on a design to take care of the spalling and the delamination in the spillway and the upstream face of the dam. The old concrete is falling away from the earth-filled components that raised the dam, and we're going to repair that seam there so that we don't lose any more concrete from the old structure. Other than that, that's about it.
The gabions are the rocks down below and they're in that metal crate. It's wired in there and just breaking out.
I'm ignorant. What is the Flint Creek Dam? That's not Georgetown?
That's at Georgetown.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Georgetown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you own that dam, believe it or not, and we produce power. I can't remember, I was looking, what did you say we made so far this year?
So far this year, 65,000 so far this year. But when we started producing power, March of 2015 through December of 2017, we had made off of the power $333,000. Now, we only get 10% of the power that gets returned to the grid for the first 20 years of its operation. For the next 17 years, we'll get 20% of the proceeds. Then at the year 2050, that dam and the power plant becomes Granite County's, and Granite County will get 100% of the proceeds that we sell back into the grid.
And that money goes into the general fund?
Into the general fund, but mainly in the Flint Creek Dam Fund. So if we have any problems, we're able to take care of it. And that money won't have to come from anywhere else.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a question about the frequency of the maintenance of the dam. Is there a scheduled maintenance for it? Is there a logbook for people to know what's been done over the years?
We have a dam tender up there. Of course, I live there. There's 2 other employees with the county that live there. And we do a yearly maintenance, a yearly inspection with our engineering firm. And then we do, the 4 of us that live right there, we're over the dam and we inspect that dam visually.
No, is there a logbook? Is there a record of all this?
Yes.
Oh, yes. You bet.
Every Tuesday they bring it in and we have the elevation and what's going on. And then
But I mean the maintenance schedule is what
Oh, with the maintenance, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And will this affect the gauge at the pool for, that measures the water levels?
Where?
It's because there's a pool at, I forget the name of the pool, sorry.
Where?
It's at the base of the dam. It's by the power generation
Yeah.
itself.
Where?
That's a weir.
Yeah, okay, so if how do I put this? If there's anything that's done to that dam, will it affect the gauge? Because that's the one that that tells us the level of the lake.
No, the level of the lake is measured at the dam, and that's through USGS. Then down at the weir, that tells us what the amount of CFS is coming out of the dam and out of the power plant.
It all hits there together and comes out and we clean the weir out.
So you're saying that the gauge that measures the lake levels is at the dam itself?
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk to Ed in a minute. Thanks.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the East Fork Reservoir? I have not heard anything about it for quite a while. We were involved in trying to fix the holes that were going into it and making sure that an engineer,
Well,
DNRC.
Yeah, DNRC, but I have coffee every so Scott with a lot of the guys that are on the ditch company there. They have done a bunch of work and they're doing a big project right now on the spillway that was required that they do. They've done pretty significant maintenance the last few years on the dam.
They did a bunch of stuff up there and there was a total bill coming, counting some other ditch work with $70,000.
There also, we still get it occasionally. DNRC sends a booklet that says what is the process if there is a problem with that dam. And there is no one on Rock Creek that is listed on the phone numbers and addresses. The sheriff is in Phillipsburg, but there is no one on the creek that is listed. We get it, I asked the DNRC to send it to the RCTA post office box. And so we get the booklet, which is about half an inch thick. And it tells what emergency procedure would be. But there is nothing that says anyone on Rock Creek would be informed if that dam breaches.
That'd be DNRC.
Well, we have a disaster plan. It's part of our disaster plan. Rick Day, and so before we leave, give you some names of people that we can get that to, and maybe have Rick send you out what we have. We also practice the disaster response. Okay. And there's a whole process, a call down the sheriff has, it starts with him, everything starts with him. And all of us are involved, but I'm sure we've got some Rockbrook people, but I'll double check. Well, I've seen it actually.
I get the disaster plan.
And it shows exactly where the water would go, the whole thing, how many feet, and how long it takes to get there.
I'm on the mailing list too, I get the same thing. There's no contacts for Lower Rockbrook to say, hey, there's a problem up in the dam, you need to advise your neighbors what the situation is.
Well,
we have our chain of command.
We'll go look, because Rick is usually on top of this, but I'll double check that, glad you mentioned it. So you're talking about the call out of,
In case of a disaster. Because I remember it was 15 feet, because I was here when that dam was going to be breached, and we were involved in making sure that an engineer, because they were just gonna throw rocks into the holes, we made sure an engineer contracted, and it was the quick response unit that did have their name on it, but that was dissolved because of no interest. And so now, as I said, I looked through that booklet, and it's got
Well,
the sheriff and everybody else, but nothing.
we'll make sure we get it and get it updated if it needs to be updated. But you gotta remember the technology of the reverse 911 system right in the dispatch center, okay? Can look at a whole section or the whole damn county and reverse 911. So every single cell phone and every single phone is gonna ring. And there's gonna be a, all right, but every landline and every cell phone that we have a contact for is gonna ring, and you're gonna get a message, a reported message, and she'll update it regularly, okay? So that's probably what they're relying on, but you need to know about that, and we'll make sure you do, okay? Good question. Anything else on Flint Creek Dam improvements? Yeah.
Do you anticipate that the maintenance and repairs plus the operating and administrative expenses will continue to exceed the revenue coming in on that?
No?
You don't think so?
No. No, it's a matter of keeping up with it. I mean, we have an obligation to FERC, the state, and keep up with it. Mike, what's in the fund left from that? So if you recall, the dam, when it was transferred to Granite County, before my time, they got about $1 million for maintenance for just what you're talking about. And there's 250 plus still in that fund on top of that. Commissioner Bonnie was explaining, we take the power generation money and put it in that fund to make sure there's enough money to maintain the dam properly. And we don't have a choice. I mean, FERC's here from Portland, and they send people out, and we have to go through it and do what they ask us.
Been here twice this summer.
Twice this summer.
Is the $900,000 that you received from Montana Power almost fully dissipated, or very close to the?
That's just what I was talking about.
That there's about 250,000 left in that area.
And
that has taken care of some maintenance that we did before. Now that FERC is involved, we're required to do a whole lot more than we used to do.
Yeah.
But we did inspections before, and those dollars would take care of those inspections and some engineering costs, and that's that. Figure we got that dam in 1982, so that money's lasted us well. But since 2015, now that FERC has their fingers in our pie, we've had to put forth a lot more effort in maintenance and engineering.
It was coming whether it was FERC or not.
Oh, it was coming. It was coming. You bet.
Well, is the repairs on that gabion and the spillway, how much is that going to be?
Well, there's two different contracts. I don't have those numbers right in my head.
Approximately.
We got grants, Dick, for those, so we didn't put a lot of the money, the maintenance money in those. We were able to get grants. We were successful on 2 different grants, right? So,
Do you anticipate any more major repairs similar to the Gabion and the spillway?
well, be the spillway be next, and then as,
Face of the
Mr.
dam,
Vine,
yep,
the
straight face
fascia
of the dam.
He explained that about the face of
Okay.
the dam and cement's going on.
Well, the point I'm getting at is if you run out of money from the contributions and the amount of money that Montana Power gave you, will you be taxing the people of Granite County for that?
I don't think so, and this is why we've been very successful in getting grant money to do that, okay? And they give us time to get that, so so the last 3 or 4 major expenses, we've been able to get grant dollars to take most of the sting out of it, so.
Okay, thank you.
So you do have to get grants in order to supplement the cost of that.
I didn't hear you, what'd you say?
You do have to get grants in order to supplement
We
the
don't
cost.
have to, but we're gonna. We'd rather do that and come to you. Absolutely.
Well,
That's what they're there for.
I don't think you should come to the people.
Yeah, I don't either. If we can avoid it, that's why we'll fill out a grant application every time. Well, we've been pretty successful.
We have.
All right, so, town of Drummond update, Mayor Leeper.
So the water tower, I just got with our engineer. He just sent me over numbers today, and honestly, I didn't even open the email yet. But I'll get put on the agenda in the next 2 weeks, itemized
I want to
out.
explain what you're going to do there, Gail.
We had our water tower inspected, and there's about 6 to 8 inches of soot in it that needs to come out. Plus, it has to be painted inside and out because of rusting. We still haven't found where it's leaking. I think it's going back into the well, but we're not 100% sure. It's got a 40-plus-year-old mercury switch on it that we will update. But, you know, we've had some issues with it the last couple of years, but it's done its job. We need to do some maintenance on the ground around there, the pillars and whatnot. So we'll be getting, at our last joint session, I had asked the commissioners if they would be willing to let us use some of the PILT money, payment in lieu of taxes, because it doesn't just affect Drummond. You know, the water suppression is throughout the whole county sometimes, should it need it. So, yeah, and it was looked into, and it's legal to do, and so that's where they did say that they would do that. I just have to get them the itemized sheet to it. I'm going to be asking for a little more, just so you know, just because I forgot about that 40-year-old thing. Anyway, it'll be itemized out. I'll get it put on the agenda.
Okay, anything else? Any other updates?
Let's see. Thanks to the county, they did Durapatch when they came off of Highway 1. There's about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile, right after the railroad tracks to the river bridge. That the city owns that, and we have gotten an estimate to see how much that will cost to redo, and it's going to be about $290,000. But those guys were Durapatching on the other side of it, and so they did some. So thank you to the workers and the commission and Paul for that. Let's see, Sewer Lagoon Road. We are getting some of that material from the state. That's the hill is sliding off there on the other side of the chalet, and we have to haul it, and they'll put it in a certain place, and then we're going to use that to build up our Sewer Lagoon Road that is in much dire need. That's pretty much all.